All right. So, new student, as a student who is searching for a gym to train at, what would you suggest for them to seek in a coach or gym?
Probably the most bestest advice is if you're looking for a school, a jiu-jitsu or MMA school, try out several in your area, and then find out which one of those schools work best for you. Each gym has its own environment. Some gyms are fight gyms. Some gyms are more family oriented, and some gyms are, maybe in the middle somewhere. So yeah, just find a gym that really fits for whatever your personality is, and each gym has its own environment, its own culture, and you want to find the one that works best for you. As far as like who I think it ties in together. Usually from leadership down is where the environment is created. So, if the environment is good and it works for you, usually the coaches are pretty top notch,
All right.
But
hell yeah.
Yeah. I think
here's another good question. I think it's based on perspective. I don't know if you'll agree, but it says, are there any coach red flags or gym red flags to be aware of? I think that's perspective on what you're looking for, but is there anything general on like red flags just in general for any gym you go to?
There are. I don't know if I'm the expert person to be talking about it, but I mean, there's things, and but some people like that stuff, and that it just depends, I think, on the individual. There are individuals that look or seek out or need a certain type of coach to, I don't know, maybe actually yell at them or whatever, right? And there are some individuals that don't need that. They don't require that. They just need like a conversation or just a little bit of guidance, and then that they're good to go. But as far as, red flag, I don't think that I'm an expert. I have my own opinions and thoughts on it, but I don't know that I'll share that here.
So perspective, it's perspective depending on, I think, know yourself and what you want to expect out of a gym. Yeah.
It depends on the
That's a good question though. That was a really good question.
It's all right.
No, I think it's all right.
She's okay.
She's all right. Oh, here's one. Here's a good one. Do you have any advice on students that struggle consistently? That's a good one, because some students like, do you have any advice for them? Or
don't set the bar so high. Everybody's has their own journey, and you're at a certain specific spot in your own journey. So, the 35-year-old man who's got a family and a wife versus the 22-year-old kid who has no responsibilities, you cannot compare each other to each other. If you can get into the, 1 day a week is better than no days a week. So if that's what your commitment level is, then be consistent with it. You can build upon that. You can't build upon nothing. I mean, if you don't go, then you need, and if you don't go and you want to go, then you need to make that commitment to yourself, and then keep it to yourself, because nobody else really matters. It's just you that matters. It's nobody else is really going to know what you're dealing with inside or thinking inside. And if you made a commitment to yourself 1 day a week, 2 days, 3, whatever, that commitment you made to yourself, if you don't keep it to yourself, you matter. You're somebody, right? Nobody else really needs to know, but you know, and you are a somebody. And so keep your commitment to yourself, whether that's 1 day a week. And don't set it so high. There's different, we're all at different places in life.
Fair enough. Here's a good question. Another good question. I'm going to say they're all good questions because the person who issued them is right behind that camera. So they're all good questions. All right. Because she's also a coach and she kicks really hard.
I have to touch on that one more time, right? Don't set the expectation or standard so high. I mean, we want to, because we want to accomplish something, but don't set it unrealistically high. Set a realistic goal. If you're at 1 day a week, obviously we want more days a week, right? I want to train all the time, But if you just start somewhere and then you can build upon that, that's really the goal. Because maybe you're 35 now, but when you hit 45, your kids are going to be graduated high school or whatever. You'll have more time. Things will change in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, right? And it really is a process. It's a journey. It really, really is. And where you are now, you won't be in 5 years. I think back, what are we, 45? Not the same individual 10 years ago.
Oh, absolutely.
15 years ago, 20 years ago, we're not, and then looking forward, you're not, when I hit 50, I'm not going to be where I'm at now at 45. When I'm 55, I won't be where I'm at now currently. So wherever you are now, be there and do the best that you can. And that's really that's all that's required.
Be present in the moment.
Keep your commitment to yourself.
Yes. Kimberly's going to go ahead and tell us a dad joke. Here we go.
And it hurt.
I'm sorry. Why'd the chicken cross the road?
No, Jesus Christ. Why are you giving me? I have a mic. You gotta
to get to the other side.
Oh
Wait,
my God.
Why did the whale
So worse.
cross the ocean?
Worst
Why'd
dad
the
joke.
whale cross the ocean?
Do you see this girl?
Why'd
She's
the
yelling
whale-
at. She's lying.
To get to the other tide. Oh my God. Why'd the kid
Oh, she's on a roll.
She's on a roll. Let's go.
cross the playground?
Run away from the drug dealer.
To get to the other slide.
Okay. No more. She. You get
Way over
$50
there.
says she's
Yeah,
got
no.
another one.
I don't.
Damn it! I lost $50.
She's like, get to the other slide.
Oh my God. Oh God. Here you go.
What characteristics do you like to see in students in your gym that attribute to the environment that you've built?
I think a willingness to help build each other up. That's probably the key, I think.
Hell yeah. What was your most memorable fight? You can pick the worst one you've ever been through, the best one. I don't know which one would be more memorable. But whatever one pops into your head. What's your most memorable fight?
It was probably the second fight in China. That was my most memorable. Thank you, sir. Just because it was halfway around the world. It's cool. I think because of the maybe different, I don't know the right word, elements or things that went into it. Having to walk at a lower weight, having to eat, basically diet the entire camp to walk at a lower weight. We had to weigh in twice. I think day before and at the day of when you get to the venue. And I can't remember the kilos, but you could not gain more than X amount of kilos after you weighed in. So I had to walk. I can't even remember. It might have been 170, something like that. You have to walk at that weight. Might have been 168. I can't really remember. But and then when we were, when you get to the venue, you do your second weigh in. The guy, he was from Kazakhstan, the toughest person I've ever fought. When I broke his arm, the only sound, and I'm never going to forget this, and I'll never tell a story differently. It'll always be the same. The kid, I break his arm, and the only sound he made was, ugh. And that was it. And I was like, motherfucker. But before all that, we got to the venue. I think that's 7 Fs. Sorry, Mom. We got to the venue, and Coach Charlie is like, he's saying, I can't remember. I think it's because I don't remember. But we're at the venue, and he sees him warming up, and I'm not really paying attention because apparently in China, you're not allowed to turn on the heat until November or something like that. And we were fighting in October, and it was freezing cold. So I'm just trying not to freeze to death. get hypothermia. And so he's watching my guy warm up wherever, and I'm not even paying attention. And then he comes up to me and he says, "Hey, just so you know, you're gonna have to knock this guy out, or you're gonna have to like break something on him." And I said, "Okay," at that time I was like, "Yeah." It didn't register. I just heard him say it. And then, of course, you get in the cage and bell rings. You kind of immediately figure that out pretty quickly as soon as you start fighting. But anyway, he was right, and I had to either knock him out or finish him, which obviously I finished him. That kid was the toughest kid I ever fought. He was very, very, very strong, very tough, just tough.
Is that the one where you did the mounted crucifix?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. It's pretty memorable.
Yeah. Good experience.
What injuries have you had?
Is that an important question?
No. I just thought it would be nice because we know, the brain damage, but what else? You broken ribs,
I don't think I've ever broken a rib. Definitely popped a few out.
broken elbow, dislocated stuff.
Dislocated shoulder. My left knee's gone. I don't know exact. I had an MRI done. That was a long time ago, and I can't remember. I need something. I need a knee, a left one. Right one's good enough for now. Shoulders, mobility. I have mobilities issues. I did spend about a year and a half battling a headache every day, and I went to the doctors. They did a scan on my head, neurologist people, and of course, none of them could be.
Yeah,
none
they
of them
don't
could
know
figure
what's
it
going
out.
on. Yeah.
And I changed many things in my world. I went 3 months clean eating, no drinking, trying to figure out this. And it was not fun, actually. It was very intense headache, like this huge pressure in my head, and I just couldn't figure out why I had it, and I had it for a very long time, pretty much throughout the entire day. Anyways, doctors didn't know. Weird part was I started, and the hard part was when I worked out, it intensified greatly. I actually had to hold my head. I would interlace my fingers and then squeeze my palms together because the pressure was so bad. I have no idea what that was. Not a clue. But anyways, that was like some byproduct of something. Probably getting punched in the head repeatedly. Weird part was when I got back into grappling, because I tried to figure out what it was and do all the things, no drinking, clean eating, don't work out. And I got to a point where I just, it was what it was.
Yeah.
And I couldn't not grapple. I get angry when I don't get to grapple. So I went back to grappling, and then eventually it had worked itself out. I don't know what it was, but it was a weird thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, just head trauma and nose been busted up. Can't breathe when I eat. Just, many injuries, but times were different back then.
Yeah.
Which, not good, bad. It's just good, bad, or indifferent. What I'm not regretting any of it. It was a room full of killers, and if you were hurt, didn't matter, because if you were competing or your buddies were, you got to be in fighters training to get ready. So
yeah, I don't know how the competitive environment is now, but yeah, back then I think it was brutal. Even back then, we were young, but it was, to me, it's just watching it from the other fighters. It was, they were brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like how you trained with a cast on and stuff like that. Fighters would do that a lot. Like little splints because they hurt their thumb or dislocated something on their hand. They still went out there and did what they could. But yeah, fight training was rough when I watched it.
That's more why I was asking that question, is so you could talk about how you trained with your injuries. because you know how people like they're like I got hurt, whatever.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
that's a good question too, because it drives me nuts. Students will text me or whatever, you know, hey, I got a sprained whatever, I've got a broken foot, I've got a busted elbow, I got something busted on me. And the answer I always give back is, if your eye's working, you can take notes, you can train. I've done fighters training where my elbow was tendonitis was so bad I couldn't use it, so I'd put it in my shorts and then I would just grapple with one arm and my two legs and my neck and whatever else I could use. You know, I'm not advocating. I was competing, so that's different.
Yeah.
You know, if you're just the individual that wants to go to work, but you know, this is a hobby of mine, you can still train. You can still come in and still watch and still learn. You can take notes. We used to take notes. We had stacks of notebooks, and you can still. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen people injured not have use of a limb and help somebody get better, or even they got themselves better and they developed a whole new style of doing something with their limbs differently because they didn't have their arm, and you're forced to, you know, we'll do that with Vitali. Bunch of new people, like, hey, you cannot use your left arm, or you can't use your left leg, or you cannot give me a submission that starts with A, and then we'll go through the alphabet, you know, like just a challenge. That's really what it is, right? You got a broken something or other, challenge yourself. It's possible. It's doable. It isn't the way that we want it. You know, I don't want to sit there and take notes. I don't want to sit and watch. I want to be able to participate. And I understand that, but you can still learn.
So the goal of the goal of the podcast.
Goal of the podcast is I'm just a regular dude. Like, I'm not anything real special. I'm human. I make many mistakes. I probably made at least 20 today so far. I made like 8 or so far right now. I kept saying the F word from my mom.
Right in front of mom.
But
it's horrible.
I know that there's young men and even men my own age out there, you know, maybe struggling a little bit, carrying heavy burdens and, you know, walking through life. For me, martial arts has been a staple for the last 20 years. And if it can be a staple for other individuals and they can find the good stuff there, you know, the good stuff that martial arts has to offer, man, why not? Because I'm just a regular dude. I clearly don't have good words. I don't articulate things very well. I don't know. I'm just me. I'm just a regular fucking guy. So
Sorry, mom.
Oh, fuck. Shit. God. Gosh darn it. Shoot.
So here's the thing. We talk like you're a humble person. At least that's what this says. I don't know.
I hate talking about myself.
Yeah, like how does that feel though? Like
now?
I'm a content creator. This is normal to me. I've gotten past that hump of talking to the camera, you know. But you don't like talking about yourself. We obviously want to share the word of martial arts and the impact it makes. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about doing this? That these questions are gonna right now for the next X amount of episodes, because we want to get to know you, right? How is all this being part of the content creation, podcasting type stuff? How's that experience? Because I know it's new for you, which you shouldn't. You've been on freaking camera before, fighting in front of people, which is weird.
That's not the same.
You had your intros. Hey, I'm Chris.
Oh man, that was so dumb. They rubbed me down with baby oil. Yeah, it made me lift weights. I mean, it looks cool. I look like a badass, but man, it was
all for like that.
It's weird. Oh, and they made me do that thing because they're very charismatic over there.
Okay.
and I hated doing it too.
You have to like kiss babies.
No, it's something. Beijing, I'm coming for you, and I had to point my finger at the camera.
That
Hated that.
that really did not seem authentic. Everything else did seem authentic, the way you were talking.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was like
So
that
weird.
Beijing, I'm coming for. I was like, ugh.
What are you doing, buddy? Oh goodness.
Oh, this is gonna get us definite views.
What are you doing?
We're just gonna
Gotta
do a
be
little highlight.
famous.
Look at
Yeah.
He doesn't show love like this.
Yeah.
He does not show any love
What are
to
you
human
doing?
beings. This is
Oh goodness. I know. They would feed you a fry, but it would be on the internet, and your mom would see it, and then she'd get mad at me. Yeah.
I was just gonna ask if you think that heart can be learned, or if it or
I th-
developed.
I think it can. I do. I think it can be developed. When I was a younger man, I was a fucking loser, a quitter, no direction in life. Yeah, just I was a young man, you know. Oh yeah, sit back. I was a young man. Just wandering, lost through life, you know. And then I saw fighting on TV, and I was like, I want to do that. That looks like a good time. And then the rest is history, you know. But in the process of fighting, I developed into, since then, developed into who I am now.
So do you think you developed more heart with your experience? Or did you already have that?
I think that life's struggles presented the opportunity for heart to be shown and developed in the gym on the mats. I think. I could be wrong. But I didn't really like think about that too much yet. I just know that where I was when I was a young man wasn't a good direction to be going. And if I didn't find fighting, I'd probably don't know obviously where I would be if I didn't have that, right? And so martial arts definitely guided me and helped me develop a lot of good things.
So you think heart can be developed?
I think so. I mean, I watched this fight last night. This girl fighting a tougher and more experienced opponent, and she got hit good, and she I already knew. You can tell if you watch many fights. You can guess a good guess, you know. And she quit before the 10 count was up. By the time that guy got to 5, I was like, she's gonna quit. And she did, and she quit on herself. But that doesn't make her, you know, oh gosh, this could go deep, and I'm trying not to go there, right? But it doesn't make her a quitter. She just quit on herself that night. She'll have another opportunity if she puts herself out there, get back into the gym, train some more, take more fights, and then when you get rocked again, and just don't quit. Don't quit on yourself. She'll live with that for a time, you know. And then that kind of ties into that whole community thing. If she's in a good community, she'll get back to the drawing board. She'll get back in there. She'll have good people around her, and they'll guide her towards, you know, another fight. And I really hope, like, I don't even know who this lady is, but I really hope that she takes another fight and gets back in there and doesn't quit on herself, you know, because she'll have to live with that if she doesn't the rest of her life. So yeah, I think that heart can be developed, you know. I think sometimes we lose it too. It happens in life, I think.